I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them.
All right, Britt, let's get back to it. You were pretty angry.
I wasn't that angry, Frank. Sure, I was annoyed that Rec was here, but I was in complete control of myself.
Britt, as a friend and as a public official, I suggest you get a lawyer before you talk any more about it.
The witnesses have been dismissed, sir.
Thanks, Hodges. Well, I guess we better get downtown, too.
Frank, I didn't kill Eddie Rec.
There are two things you're going to have to face up to. One, many witnesses will swear to the jury that you were holding the death weapon when it was fired.
I didn't fire that gun. It just went off.
Yet while you were holding it. And two, it's common knowledge that you fired Rec when you caught him sabotaging his circulation deliveries. Now, there was bad blood between you and him, and the state can make a pretty good case out of that.
I'm telling you, I did not fire that gun.
Britt, I strongly advise against that line of defense.
Could someone have tampered with it?
Sounds a little like science fiction to me. How could that be done?
I don't know yet. Do you remember if the gun felt odd to you when you grabbed it from me?
Well, I wasn't paying too much attention to it. I was more concerned about Eddie Rec.
When I held the gun, it felt like it had a fully loaded clip. It could have contained an automatic firing device.
Well, if it did, ballistics should have it.
That's right, they should.
Dale gave Eddie his favor.
And do you remember what it was?
A little transistor radio.
Good. Then what?
Then the gun
Try
fired.
to remember everything that happened from there on.
Dale took the gun from you and knelt down beside Eddie. Then he turned his back.
Then?
I went upstairs to get a first aid kit, just in case Eddie wasn't dead.
What was Dale doing?
He was on the phone. Then he put something into the flowers on the bar, but I couldn't see what it was. It's over there.
Hey, speak softly. The police are still watching the house.
Looks like some kind of electronic equipment. And it could trigger the firing mechanism.
Well, what made it fire at Eddie Rec?
How can you prove he knew anything about it?
If I'm right, I'll make him admit it in front of witnesses. And now, lady and gentlemen, we shall reenact the crime. You'll notice I did not say accident. Here's the murder weapon. There's a shell in the chamber, just as there was when I opened the present. But it's not exactly the same. I'll need the magazine clip.
What's this all about?
Please, will you let him finish?
Dale, will you please stand over there where Eddie Rec stood?
Sure.
Thank you. Now, position the gun here on the table to eliminate any chance for human error. Now walk towards me. Wait just a minute, I forgot something. You had just given Eddie Rec a favor. Do you remember what it was?
Not offhand.
I believe it was a small transistor radio. It should be here in Eddie's effects. Yes, here it is. Now walk towards me.
Say, what is all this? I'm not on trial here.
We just want your help, Mr. Hyde. Do you have any reason for not giving it?
Come all the way, Dale, as if you were going to shake hands with me.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
I'll show you why you had a change of heart. Because you knew if you got any closer, the gun would go off. This radio contains a small electronic transmitter. When it's brought close enough, its signal will fire the gun.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I'll demonstrate. Only Only this time the gun was loaded with a blank shell. You should have kept walking, Dale. I would have had a hard time proving it was you who killed Eddie Reck.
Baldwin's claim that he didn't pull the trigger is being questioned by gun experts and even by the Santa Fe sheriff himself, who tells Fox News Digital, quote, "Guns don't just go off."
But on Good Morning America today, the attorney for the movie's assistant director, Dave Halls, backs up Baldwin's assertion.
Dave has told me since the very first day I met him that ALEC did not pull that trigger. The entire time Baldwin had his finger outside the trigger guard, parallel to the barrel, and that he told me since day one he thought it was a misfire. I know.
George Stephanopoulos interviewed Baldwin in the ABC News exclusive airing tonight.
How about that headline? He did not pull the trigger, and now we've seen the attorney for David Halls, the assistant director, who said, yeah, we've been saying that all along. So there are so many more questions for the investigation.
Former Dukes of Hazzard star John Schneider posted a YouTube blast at Baldwin.
By all means, do not believe the "I didn't pull the trigger" nonsense. Guns do not go off by themselves.
Dutch Merrick is a Hollywood prop master.
The trigger does one thing. You physically have to pull the hammer back and lock it, and then you have to pull the trigger with your finger when you're pointed in a safe direction and you're ready. It does one thing, is it drops the hammer.
This is an exact replica of the one that ALEC was using.
I also spoke to firearm safety expert Steve Wolf.
Is that even possible for a gun to go off if you don't pull the trigger?